Welcome to the Metal Prognosis. My name is Lee, and on today's Pedal to the Metal, we are going to be looking at the little Djent pedal by the Skyline Stomp series. Yeah, it is tiny, but as we saw with the whip, if anyone saw that video, these can have one hell of a punch. Now I have used this pedal before, so it's not new to me, but I haven't really put it to the test and haven't really pushed it through the usual hoops that I do with the Pedal to the Metal series with that whole setup. So I'm definitely keen to see, well firstly let's see if it can djent by itself. Djent is a certain type of guitar tone and guitar sound. So I'm going to pull out my 7-string, which I have set up behind me, ready to go. Always a good excuse to pull out the 7-string whenever I can. But I'm really curious to see how this holds up purely by itself. So like all my Pedal to the Metal series, I'll put a camera on this, we'll dial up a tone together and I'll talk my thoughts through it, or stumble through my thoughts, as I normally do while dialing up a tone. Compose a little song, play it, share it, and then we'll have a talk about it afterwards. So, the tiny little djent pedal. Let's see how big of a djent sound we can get from it. So I've got my 7-string here, I've got the pedal, the djent pedal set up ready to go, and just like all my videos with the Pedal to the Metal series, this is what the guitar sounds like before we plug the pedal in. Don't know why I play something so sad and depressing, but oh well, hopefully you get the message nonetheless. So I definitely notice with the deeper strings and the lower tuning, there's still a lot of bottom dynamics there coming through straight off the bat. So that's definitely worth noting when we run through the pedal tones, which is exactly what we're going to do right now. So, and on we go. We get the blue lights. Let's chuck that all the way down to 0 to start with. And to avoid embarrassing myself, other than all the stuttering I'm doing, if I play now, we shouldn't get any sound. We don't get any sound. Because I did that a couple of videos and I forgot to put the volume up and it was quite embarrassing. So now I make sure I do it on purpose and say it so I don't get caught out again. That's really interesting. So before, we haven't got any gain on, I've only put the volume on. Most pedals, especially if you've seen any of my other videos, as soon as you turn it on, you start to hear its own distortion characteristics pop through straight away. And the fact that I definitely can hear a difference in the shaping of the sound. So there's no grunt or no dirt there, but it's definitely helped shape it already, which is really cool because it's going to be cool if the gain knob plays the game right. But if you hook this up to an amplifier, you could really push the gain on the amp head and use this to help shape your tone rather than relying on 100%. But in this series, we are relying on this 100%. So we need to push it. Let's give it a little bit of tone. I can't tell where it's meant to be at the moment with this coming through so cleanly. So I'm just going to leave it around about there, just past, what is it, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock-ish, 1 o'clock. And then we'll see when we add gain what we need to do. So let's add, I don't know, half. That sounds really cool. Straight off the bat. So now I've got a bit of grunt, for lack of a better term. Let's try moving the gain now. I definitely want that little bit more, I don't want to use the term drier, but more mids to high emphasized and to roll off a little bit more on the lower registry, because I've already got low sounds coming in with the low tuning. And I want to make sure it's nice and clean too, because I definitely don't want this overly saturated distortion to try and get this more djent leaning towards sound. So let's push the distortion all the way up, because it wouldn't be my video if we didn't do that. I'm definitely hearing a lot more fuzz now come through. So I'm going to roll back on that. I'm doing this on purpose. I know it sounds like I've forgotten what to play. I absolutely haven't. I'm just listening out for the stop start to see how strongly it cuts off. And it cuts off pretty sharply. I missed one note there before, but that's okay. You can miss heaps of notes when you're just finding your tone. You can judge me in the comments. Yeah, that's got a really nice sharp cut off to it, because normally I'd have to add a noise gate or some other assistant pedal to help really close off the sound to keep that sharpness. But this is doing a really good job just by itself. I'm not minding the tone already, but there's a dial here that we haven't touched yet. We need to touch it. So we have the shape. Actually, let me quickly run through the pedal because it's I don't know, named quirkily. So I used their other pedal through this brand called the Whip, which is a very cool pedal. If I remember correctly, we had volume. What did it have here? It had like a, I can't remember what the hell it's called. Like a boost button. So instead of a button, now I've got a 3 dial, and that looks like a shape. And instead of having shape, they've actually put shapes there, and I have no idea what those shapes represent, which is not bad. That means I have to judge with my ears and not my eyes, because you don't want to be judging with your eyes over your ears. Because, yeah. Sabre is the tone, if I'm not mistaken, and instead of having the gain, they've labelled it djent, which is fine. That's pretty cool. They've done little quirky relabeling like that. So let's check out this shape section. So in the middle, back down. Back to the middle. Back to the top. What I'm listening out for is the higher notes, how much they, not ping, that's not the right term, how much they bounce and how much they really give that punch. And I really like it in that position there, which is the pyramid setting. That, I mean, some of their music has been amazing, so yeah, pyramids it is. Just curious with a couple more things before we move on. Remember I said you can muck up notes while finding a tone? That's exactly what I'm doing. Oh, I'm not mucking up on purpose, it's just... I'm just not caring, I'm just... No one watches these videos to actually test out my skills. What I was just testing there was I was curious to see the higher register notes. How they would hold up with this pedal, because normally when I dial in a very specific type of guitar tone, it works really good with some registers and really, really bad in others, especially when recording an album. Sometimes I need to make up a rhythm tone and a different lead tone and a different tone for when they're playing fast, a different tone for when they're holding notes, which all sound in the same family, but have to cater for different things to make sure each different section holds up to the best of what it can. And with this is actually holding up really well with the lower register notes. It's got a decent amount of bite. But then in the high notes, yeah, it's sounding good up there too. Interesting, I like it. I think that's enough toying around for now. I mean, could toy around for a lot longer, but because it's fun. But I think we've got a decent enough tone now to do a bit of composing and then some recording with it, double up on the guitars, add some bass and drums, share it with everyone, and then we can have a chat about it afterwards. So yeah, hope you enjoy the tunes that's coming up in about 12 seconds, and I shall see you all on the other side. Time for my final thoughts on the little Djent pedal by Skylines. I got a lot to say, really. Firstly, normally when you dial in a Djent tone, it takes a lot of EQing. So you normally really pump up the mids and the highs and cut out a lot of the lows to really give it that nice twang sound, for lack of a better term. So considering we're only using this and using its little, well, it's called saber on this, but tone shaping, I don't know how to really describe that dial. Pretty much like a tone, let's just call it a tone knob. It did really, really well. I really liked it. So let's go through all the little things on this pedal. The force, or volume, like a lot of us like to call it, worked really well. When I pushed it a little bit over, I dialed it just back a little bit because I realised that it was pushing a little bit too much signal through. Not a bad thing, not a bad thing at all. The little shape section, which just gives you 3 different shapes, as in pictures of shapes, where you've got like a circle, a square, and a pyramid. That was really cool. I liked it. It changed the characteristics noticeably enough between them, where I definitely had a favourite one, which was good. The saber, the tone knob, moving that changed the tone heaps. Made a huge difference every time I was dialing that in and out and all around, which is really cool. And as I was saying before, I think I mentioned where if you were to plug this through an amp, that would be a huge, huge, what's the right word? Game changer for your tone, for lack of a better term, where you could really dial it across and get something extremely different and really, some really cool tones out of it. It handled the 7-string like no one's business. It was great. So absolutely no quarrels there, which it's called the Djent pedal. I would be extremely disappointed and not so much shocked, but definitely disappointed, and I'll kind of feel ripped off thinking they marketed, sold me this when it doesn't do what it's meant to do. But it handled the low tones, absolutely no problem at all. I didn't need to, there's no time when I was playing it which I thought, this is too muddy in the low end. Especially since the clean tone which I had running through my chain had a lot of bottom and low end there to start with. So the fact that there was already some there with the guitar, and then when we boosted up the gain and really started to push this a bit, it didn't feel overly saturated in the lower tones. So I feel like I should get a hat just so I could tip my hat to this, because it did an amazing job in that regards. It could be really fun, like using this for a few different Djent songs to see how it would sound if I did really push the EQ with either my mixing desk or post recording it, to see if I can really get those nice frequencies and a little bit more control out of it, because this is really pretty darn powerful just by itself. So the potential of what you could do afterwards is exciting. Is exciting. So yeah, this little bit of a backstory before I say do my sign off. This pedal I got a while ago, just before my city went into lockdown, and I only used it a couple of times, but one time I did use it, I decided to film a video about it just to dial it in, see how it goes. I wasn't really going for a Djent type of sound, and I was using a lot higher tuning. I was using my C tuning, not my G, which is what the 7-string is in. So it's kind of got a little bit of sentimental value with that too, because it was my first early times of kind of recording and talking to my camera and going through it. I should share that. I'll put that up sometime and have it in like an old, like Vault series or something, you know, things of the past. So you can really see how far I've come, because well before I had the wireless mic and things like that, and I'm sure I was more awkward. I'm pretty awkward now, but even more so when I very first did this. So it was nice to bring this back out and put it through the test of how I am doing these video series with the pedal to the metal. And it was lots of fun playing with it and testing it out with the 7-string. But in saying that, what are your thoughts? How do you feel how I went through this? Do you feel like I should have added more to it, either an EQ pedal or some other boost to help shape it more? Do you feel like I came across something really nice with it and then moved on far too quickly and didn't give it enough of a chance to settle in and didn't get the full potential of what this pedal could give and in the style that I was capturing the sound? Or do you think that I was onto something amazing but just didn't get there and should have put more time into it? What are your thoughts? Let me know. How do you feel when it was in the whole mix with the bass and the drums and doubling up on the guitars with this? Yeah, let me know all your thoughts. We all know how to use the comments below. So yeah, definitely let's have a conversation about it, because I'd love to hear what you think about it. And in saying that, time for my usual sign off, which is whether this video is in the foreground or the background, I absolutely appreciate your company and love sharing all these thoughts and videos with you all. So leave a like, please leave a message. If you know anyone that you think might like these type of series, not just this individual video, but this whole series, please point them my way. That would be muchly appreciated too, to help this channel grow and become more than what it is. So until next time, please stay safe.